Today it's a simple question. Jax wanted Opie as president, while Clay wanted Bobby. But who's your pick? Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. This is Sons of Anarchy Season 4, and it's another theory. It's a belter of a theory, guys. We had 506 votes. 35% of voted for Bobby, and 65% of voted for Opie. You know what? I'm actually kind of in a disbelief here that Opie has won by so many votes. I am. I thought so many people would have went with Bobby. Now I get it, people might prefer Opie as a character. I think most people probably would. You know, the fan favourite. Not that Bobby wasn't, but I think a lot of people hold Opie a wee bit more closer to their hearts, so to speak. So in that regard, you can absolutely see why. Absolutely why this vote would go to Bobby, no Opie, sorry. But at the same time, you know, it is to do with the main thing of, you guessed it, brother, leadership, presidentship, brother. So at this point, what do you do? Well, I'll tell you what you do. You factor everything into the bargain. Bobby, great VP, great. I think he's shown great leadership, even though he never actually held president. Now, I guess you could say there was periods where he was acting president, but for me, who'd be the best option? I'd say Bobby. I would. I would say Bobby. But I think it's close. I never thought Opie could lead, but on this rewatch of Sons, I mean, I've watched Sons probably at least like 12 times, I'd say. Could be even more. I lost count. But Opie led the club well while everyone was inside. I mean, Clay even praised him, man. Clay even praised him when they got out of jail. But here he is, calling the guy a jobber. Opie's not ready to lead this club, Jackie boy. So yeah, kind of going against the word of Jax to make Opie president. But you know, Clay's his own man. He can do what he wants. But for me, I think Bobby is the correct choice. But I wouldn't discount Opie to lead. He's good. And for me, Bobby would be the choice. But for you guys, the majority, pretty much 2/3 of you, did want Opie to be the president. But it's time to dive into your comments. Miguel Mayika says Opie didn't have leadership qualities. 65 of y'all are picking with your hearts. He had leadership. He had the ability to leadership, and you know he had a decent amount of qualities for it. But he was nowhere near Bobby, and I think that's the difference maker here. But I'm not saying that Opie couldn't lead. I think this key's trying to say Opie couldn't, but I think he could. But Bobby is still the better choice. Tries Away said Bobby is a better choice, been around longer, wiser, knows his shit and is very smart. I love Opie, he was a great son, but he was very explosive and his rage consumed him. It did. No one's denying that, but I would have liked to have seen most other club members if what happened to him happened to them. Like, you lose your wife, then you, like, the whole thing's a lie. You find out it's the club instead of some Mexican gangbanger. Then your dad dies. You think it's Lobo Sonora, but then you find out it's Clay. Well, you knew it was Clay anyway. But yeah, anyway, like that whole lie's under wraps. He has to keep that way, and we can't, you know, go against the club. And then he ends up sacrificing himself for the club. His rage did consume him, but a lot of characters didn't go through his pain. Now, to be fair, the Sons, they lost Opie, and Bobby was able to hold on to his rage. He didn't want to destroy the relationship with the Groom Bastards, but Jax seen that as something that had to be done in order to get revenge. But then again, you didn't see the pleasure in that animal's face when he caved in Opie's skull. We did. Bobby didn't see it, and we certainly did as viewers. Moving in though to typically Johnny. Bobby definitely. He has the experience, is already in a high position, has the brains to do it. I see Opie more as a VP. Yeah, I agree with Opie more as a VP, but then like what happens to, like, Chibs? You know, like what happens to him? What would have happened to Chibby boy? Shades 1159, but I guess in season 4 Chibs wasn't really. He does get made vice president eventually, doesn't he? 1159, Bobby is the better choice, despite the fact I like Opie more. This is a classic example of brain versus heart, and yeah, I think it's been dubbed that. Just Bam 2409 says fucking facts. So you guys are in agreement here that this is the way it should be. This is the way it should be. Then we got Jose Ferruso 7809 says, plus Opie gets knocked out real quick in season 2 by Mayan on the floor and shot in the arm and hit one time by Jackson, knocked out. I mean, that's true, right? But I mean, look at how many times Bobby got shot and was out of action. Now, to be fair, he pretty much no sold them, but there was loads of times in Sons where Opie held his own and battered a lot of people. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Like, yeah, he got knocked out by a Mayan in season 2. I get that, but most people who get cracked in the back of the head get knocked out. I mean, Frankie Diamond's knocked out um, Chibs. Does that make Chibs pish? And I get it. He gets shot in the arm by Jax. But to be fair, he gets shot in the hand, the arm region by Jax, and then Jax fucking went up and smashed him over the head. I mean, most people would get knocked out for that. Let's not kid ourselves. Um, Bridget Connor says, one word, Elvis. Sam Crow is the mother charter of a global outlaw motorcycle club, the Redwood. That Redwood President Flash means something, and it can't be worn by someone who cosplays Elvis, whether that be past or present. Imagine if Alvarez was a Anarchy singer on weekends. His presence would feel diminished, and I feel it hard to believe that the Suns would be able to take him seriously. Yeah, that's a very valid point, but by the later seasons, like Bobby didn't really whip out the Elvis costume, and I think if he was president, he wouldn't do that either, to be honest. I mean, we just had a show called The Mayans, if you're aware, and Bishop was seen in a fest in the world's smallest boxers getting out of a shower like fucking 10 times an episode. He was a midget. The guy was like 3'9". What's worse, being like a 3'9" midget with a serious little guy problem, or being a fat guy that cosplays as Elvis? The question is there, and you guys have to answer it. But until next time, troops, that is the answer you've all been waiting for. Seems like it's Opie in the poll, but Bobby in the comments. So until next time, peace.